सत्संग जी वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. The workings of life have never failed to fascinate me. To be honest, I've never gotten quite used to the cyclical, fast-paced model that many of those closest to me found themselves living. So many people describe life as being transient, short-lived, the charade of living life to its fullest, the whole 9 yards. One day when I was a little boy, a question was posed to me, one that changed the rails I would follow from then on out. Now mind you, the hardest question a 6-year-old usually has to answer is what's their favorite at Dairy Queen. You know what I was asked? What is it that you want to remember and what you want to be remembered for when all is said and done? After stumping me dumb for 5 minutes, my grandfather laughed, patted me on my head, and told me, Beta, one day I'll be seeing you on the face of magazines and on every TV channel. Now it is your job to figure out for what. The bond I shared with my Dadaji was intangible, but I felt every last bit of it. I didn't see him in person except for when either of us made the trip across the ocean, but no distance could ever curtail the essence of his value to me. The coolest thing was how he taught me so much by just being himself. There were days we'd all come back from school or work, all stressed out about assignments and due dates, and my grandfather would be on the phone with relatives, laughing while just reminiscing the past. He taught me something that day. Sometimes you have to put a little relaxation on top of your priorities list. It went both ways too, though. 15 hours on a plane, a 45-minute traffic drive to our flat in Mumbai, and absolutely no sleep in the middle don't make for anyone to be particularly excited, but I certainly was. I wanted to see my best friend. Dadaji had recently gotten an open heart surgery after a heart failure and was still reeling from that experience in its entirety. He barely talked, barely ate, and was just upset all the time before I saw him. Our phone calls consisted of dead silence, and that ate at me. Our bond had been made through the exchange of anecdotes of his past and long conversations ranging from girls to cricket. The silence on the phone, in fact, spoke volumes of what we as a family had to do. We had to be there by his side. So as I walked up the apartment building stairs, all my exhaustion was shrouded by anxiety, the hassles endured through getting off London airport, losing our luggage, getting to India hours later than we should have, were all suddenly impertinent. It might have been 3 floors, but it felt like 300. Finally, we got to the right one. We walked into the small room, and there he was, 30 pounds lighter, dark circles on his eyes, fast asleep. I had to hold back tears. It hit me how I may not have supported him as much as I should have. He had given me so much. How could I let him be in this condition? Then he opened his eyes, and he did something that still makes me smile to this day. He looked at me, and he smiled. See, many people assign themselves role models by looking at their accolades in history, and they seldom look within their own families for someone to look up to. You probably figured that's what I did, and that my Dadaji is my role model. But let me tell you why. Whatever he did, whoever he met, wherever he went, he made sure to never let go of his values. As cliche as that might sound, he is the first person I've met to truly give value to that phrase. If you looked into his eyes, you saw his heart. That even if you had never met him before, you'd walk out of a place being best buddies. From friend to friend, to relative, to stranger, he left a mark on them that no one else could. Hundreds of people were in his debt, but he claimed his compensation was their happiness. How amazing is that? How many of us can truly sit here and claim that we can be satisfied, let alone grateful, for other people's joy? I certainly miss the memories. I miss the times we'd sit down to eat 6-7 rotis, much to Mummy and Dadima's dismay. I'd go yell at him for watching Indian soap operas and come out laughing until I couldn't breathe. I remember the Saturday mornings when he'd take me to martial arts and I'd cling to the seat because he jerked the car around every couple of minutes. All of that isn't what I'm going to miss about him, however, the most. To call my Dadaji a facilitator of my growth is an incredible understatement. He gave me a reason to succeed, to strive, to be at the top of everything I did. Why A when you can get an A+? Why only second when you can be first? He drove me to take everything I did, take Vaheguru's name, and not stop at anything to make sure I accomplished what I wanted to. I just wanted to make him feel proud. And even if he isn't here with me today, I want his devotion to who I was to be worth it, and even more. So maybe I have found an answer to part of the question he posed to me over a decade ago. I found something to live for, but the hard part remains. Using everything Dadaji taught me, I'm going to be remembered. It'll be unquestionably hard, but I'm up for that challenge. Besides, I already have someone's footsteps to walk into, thanks to my best friend. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.